Well, welcome back to Bless Your Heart. I'm talking. This is your host, Zeta. And I took a little hiatus. I went on vacation and had a wonderful time. And I had planned to come back and basically tell y'all all about my vacation. And I just didn't do it. I've been back for a week and a half, I guess, and I've yet to record, except one episode with Al. And I'll be honest with y'all, it's been a nice break, and I just, okay. Basically, lately, this is what I have been running into. I'm just tired. I'm so overstretched. I just have a lot going on. And so anytime that to do both podcasts requires that I give up an afternoon twice a week. So, I mean, there's more to it than just recording, especially when you're doing it by yourself. But on this particular podcast, I spend more time planning. I spend more time on social media. The other podcast, it's not my podcast. I'm just, hired talent. I'm not actually an owner of the podcast. I don't get to control those things. And on this one, I do get to control those things, but I have to do it all alone and by myself. And it is time consuming. And it requires a lot of social media. It requires a lot of posting and pictures and, that kind of stuff. And the other thing is in this current part where we are now in social media is TikTok is very popular. I love TikTok, as y'all know, but I don't produce TikToks and I don't make videos, and like YouTube's a big money maker as well. I don't do those. And the reason I don't do those is it requires more of my time to do. So if we're going to do video, if we're going to do all that kind of stuff, I obviously going to have to make sure that I'm dressed. I'm going to have to make sure I have my hair brushed. I know that sounds really simple, but it's not, because my day starts at 4 a.m. I am at work at 6 a.m. and I work until 3, which sounds like awesome. It is. It's awesome hours. But what's happened is I'm spending 2 to 3 days a week after I get off work doing podcast stuff. And that's not what I want to be doing at this stage of life. I don't want my free time to always be doing podcasts. If I'm having a girls' weekend or if I'm doing something, I always feel like I need to drag equipment with me, or I need to be taking notes and I need to be doing that. And I just, I've enjoyed the last, 3 weeks not doing that, I guess. And I even took a break from the other one, which I don't normally take a break from. But it just is a lot. It's a lot of time. And so I really before I went on vacation, I was kind of like, all right, I need to decide. Am I going to shit or get off the pot here? Like, am I going to really focus on this and do big things with it? Or is that where I want to put my focus? So I kind of gave myself my vacation time to kind of fill it out. Is the best way to put it. In the back of my head, what I was thinking I was going to do was step back from doing the podcast with Al and focus on this one. And that kind of is still where I am. But I think what I want to do is take a break for this one as well for a little bit. So this is me kind of telling y'all that Al and I are going to stop doing Third Wheel. He's going to focus on a new podcast, and I think I just want to take a break, The Third Wheel, I've always enjoyed doing, but I will tell you, if you have been a listener of it since the beginning in particular, you'll see, you know how it changed, and you know how it began, and why I was a good fit for it in the beginning, and why I ended up doing it. It made sense. But once Al and Amy got married and she became part of the podcast, it changed a little bit, and that's fine. But it wasn't, it kind of changed the vibe of the podcast. And I just feel like Al and I kind of phoned it in the last year because the vibe had changed. Obviously, Al was going through a lot of stuff and he needed to put his priorities in other places. And I think that's the right decision. And I kind of thought once everything settled down for him, and which, he's been through the worst of it, knock on wood, that we would kind of get back on track to kind of what we used to do. But I just don't think we're feeling it. I just don't think, I know I'm not. And I love Al and I love the show and I loved doing it and, all that. But I just don't want to continue to give up time I could spend with my family. Or with my friends. I barely get to see my friends lately, y'all. Like, I'm not even joking. It's just taking over a bunch of my time. And, I'm at the stage in life where I'm not ambitious. I'm fucking not ambitious. I'm just not. I used to be, and I have goals and dreams and stuff, but it's not about ambition. I didn't do this podcast or the other one for ambitious reasons. I did it because I like to tell stories and I like to get, things out there, but I feel like I've told y'all most of my stories. I don't think you want a weekly update on what I'm doing, and you might, I don't know, but if I'm only doing podcasts, I'm not doing fun things to talk about because I'm always working on podcasts. So I think the direction I'm going to go right now is step away from Third Wheel, and because I just feel like it's just, and we might revisit it. I think we kind of talked about maybe just taking a break and revisiting it. I just don't know that I want to, but we may change our minds, but that's where I think we both are right now. And I also think it's maybe a little bit of a hard thing for him in the current situation of what he's going through. And not for me to speak on, but I'm not going to lie. The last year of doing it, I had a hard time listening to it. There was a lot of fighting that I couldn't control on it. There was a lot of problems, drama on it that I had I was literally the third wheel. And I did get uncomfortable at times. And what y'all were hearing was uncomfortable. And imagine sitting there. So that kind of killed the vibe for me. I don't know how else to put it. And so that's why I went kind of into this. And I would have probably just after Kelly left would have just not continued with this podcast if I thought I was going to continue with Third Wheel and would have just picked one or the other. But I didn't see that happening. And that was before the drama ended, I guess. So I already kind of was there. But now that drama ended and I still wasn't feeling it. And I'm like, okay, this is my sign. And I guess Al was feeling the same way. I mean, it was a pretty good conversation of, hey, let's take a break. So that's what we're doing on Third Wheel, y'all. And this is the official announcement. I don't think we're even going to record an episode about it because the last two episodes were pretty great. So I don't feel like we need to end one on, oh, this is sad. We'll just end it on two good episodes. So as far as Bless Your Heart, I'm talking, I'm not going to lie. I had kind of decided just to be done with it and maybe record one more episode saying goodbye, which would be this episode. But then, after taking off 2 weeks, I got a ton of messages from listeners that were, I miss you, and I miss listening, and I want to hear what's going on, and I want to hear about the vacation, and blah, 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 blah. And sometimes I respond, sometimes I don't, because I don't see it till later. I'm really bad about, like I said, all this damn social media. It's just a lot to balance. And because I do have a job. And so I was like, okay, maybe I won't completely end it. Maybe I will just make it a twice a month-ish, maybe just not once a week. That's just too much. So maybe once every 2 weeks and do an hour. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna see how I feel. Like I said, it's not about ambition or whatever. I realize that I leave money on the table every week. Y'all don't even know how often I turn stuff down because I don't feel comfortable committing to it because my heart's just not been there lately. And I wanted it to be there, and I kind of hoped rebranding would do it, but it didn't. It didn't. Honestly, if the first time I had this feeling, I had run with it, it would have ended probably November of last year. I gave it another year, to be honest with you, on both podcasts. And it was because of the time-consuming part of it. That was kind of the scheduling issue, is that I was jumping through hoops to fit everybody else's schedule, and nobody was trying to fit my schedule. And And I just got to where that's just not realistic. It's just not, I just don't want to do that, you know? And so I'd hoped me doing it by myself would do that, but I like bantering with someone else. I like having a partner, and I just don't really, I mean, I loved being a partner with Kelly. I wish it could have continued. But I don't really know anybody else I could bring in to be a partner and take on half this work because of the scheduling issue and because my heart's not in it. So I'd feel bad bringing someone into something that my heart's not into. And then if they don't end up being a good fit, I have to deal with that situation. So I just feel like it is just better for me to take a little break, I guess. So that's kind of what I plan to do. I'll be honest with you. The holidays are really hard for me. You've probably heard me talk about this. It is the death anniversary of about everybody I love. So I just don't want to be I don't feel lighthearted, I guess. I mean, I'm happy. I'm doing great things and everything's good, but that's just it. Because I haven't been recording, I've had time to do these other great things. And I know it sounds silly because it just like takes 30 minutes to record, but there's just a lot more into it than that. The social media part is honestly the part that gets me the most. I just don't have time. And you have to put meaning into what you're doing. I don't want to just phone in post. I don't want to just phone in social media trash to my listeners. Like, I don't want to throw stupid shit at y'all just to get you to remember I exist. Like, I want it to be organic and me. And I think if I continue to occasionally post but not over push, then it gets back to being organic and what I want it to be. But when I have to do it every week and I have to do like 20 posts a week and I have to do pictures and all that bullshit. And like I said, today's age, they want video and they want TikToks and they have everyone has a quick turnaround. Like after 30 minutes, they're not interested. Like, that's a young man's game. I fucking don't want to do that. And, I kind of debated, and I have debated since before Kelly left and talked to her about it, but she didn't really want to do it this way, which is understandable because she is beautifully goddess-like all the time. She's a beautiful woman, no matter what happens. I am 15 years older than her. I need time to, like, tame my gray hair and, like, find something that has a bra that I don't hate and maybe throw some mascara on. I don't know. To be in front of a camera requires me to get ready. And a lot of times, all the time, honestly, almost all the time, when I record with Al, I was getting off work because he wants to start doing videoing too. And see that. So we were going to have to start recording on weekends. And I just can't do that. My weekends, I fought for years to get weekends off. I plan to keep them. And it'd be one thing if I was recording at my home, but to go somewhere requires time. You got to be home, blah, blah, blah. It's not flexible, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so I don't want to do that. And I debated on setting up a camera in here and kind of going for like wearing a robe because I wear a lot of fun robes at home and my hair up and it'd be obviously funny, like 50-year-old mom in her PJs basically, but like they're over the top 50-year-old woman PJs and me, just like me, literally what I normally wear, kimonos and stupid shit. But Kelly didn't really want to do that, and I understood. But I thought I'd eventually do it with this one. But I still don't want to fucking do it, even if I don't have to get dressed. And that's all I needed to know, is that if it still wasn't worth me doing it to me, and I still wasn't motivated to do it, I'm never going to be motivated to do it. And I'm just kind of like dragging this on, I guess. So I'm going to take a little break. That's basically what it is. I'm not saying right now I'm not going to record anymore. Although this could very well be the last episode. I don't know. I haven't decided. But right now I'm leaning towards putting out 1 or 2 a month. And just when I have something I really want to talk about. But I don't want to force conversations. I don't want to beat dead horses. I don't know. It's the best way to put it. So I really appreciate all the listeners and all the sweet messages and y'all buying my merch and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to leave these episodes up for quite a while. But I just don't think I'll be putting out much new stuff. I might I'm fickle, bitches. I'm fickle. I don't know. But right now, I want to focus on other things. And one of those things is I've been trying to write this damn book for years. And my ADHD keeps me so busy. I never sit down and do it. And I need to focus on it. So I had to make myself some goals to do it. And I don't have time to do that and this. And I feel like I'm like, my heart's not in this, but my heart might be in that. And I'm not giving it a shot. This is ADHD, y'all. I'm all over the damn place all the time. Okay. So that's where we're at. And if you want to keep listening to this episode, I am going to give you a little quick rundown of my vacation so we can leave on a better note. So we're going to do that. All right. So something that, I went to Key West with Zoe, and I had planned to have Zoe record with me, but God bless, she lives in the house with me, and I can't get her upstairs to record. We have I can't even find time with my daughter that lives with me. Okay. We've been back for a week and a half. That's part of the reason we haven't recorded. I could not get her upstairs here because we couldn't stay on the same schedule long enough. So that's what finally I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to forget everything that happened on this vacation if I don't hurry up and talk about it, because that's how it works with me. So this is my run through of it. So basically, we went to Key West for Zoe's best friend, Stacy's wedding. So Stacy's her best friend that she met when she moved back home here. And we love Stacy. She's awesome. And her husband, Zach. And they live in downtown Waxahachie in this really cool little townhome. They're just cool. They're cool kids. Okay. And by kids, they're in their 30s, but And so they have this amazing friend group and this amazing family, and they were getting married in Key West, which is sentimental to her. She spent her childhood vacationing there and has her whole life with her family. So they rent this amazing Airbnb that is right on Duval. So if you've ever been to Key West, you know that there's a main road, Duval, and that's what everything is on. Okay, so they're Airbnb literally is on Duval, and it's towards the southern side, but it's still right there in the middle of it. Our Airbnb was right smack in the middle of Duval. Like if we went left, it was equally as far as we could go right on the island, either to the docks one way or to the southernmost point the other way, same distance. And we were like a half a block off Duval. So our Airbnb faced another Airbnb, but 3 buildings down to the right, we're on Duval. We walked so much, y'all. Oh my gosh. So we decided what we were going to do is fly into Miami. Because I've never been to Miami. He's always been to Miami. She thought I'd really like to see the beach there. Miami is known more for its beach than Key West, as odd as that sounds. So I was like, yeah, I would love to see it because I love vacationing in Florida. So I was like, yeah, I'd love to see it. So we decide to fly into Miami, and Stacy has a friend, Donovan, which Zoe has met a number of times, that lives in Miami. And Donovan is about the nicest guy ever. And so Donovan's like, hey, I'll meet you there. We'll hang out the night y'all get there. I'll take you to local places, and then we'll get up and we'll get to Key West. So we get there early. Like we have the whole day to hang out there. And he shows up pretty quickly after we get there. We stay in the cutest hostel. This is Zoe's trip for me. Zoe paid for this trip, by the way. I paid for the airfare and she paid for the Airbnbs because she just didn't want to go on the vacation alone. She wanted me to be her plus one. So I was like, hey, I'll pay for part of it, but I'm not paying for both of us. You're a grown woman. So she was like, no, I want to pay for it. So she paid for the majority of the trip, just taking care of mom. So we fly into Miami. She's booked this hostel, and she has stayed in this hostel before, but this isn't like a hostel like you imagine. It's a very nice hostel. It's like a Spanish villa. It's beautiful. It has a full restaurant and bar in it. It has a swimming pool. It's the building. I don't know how old it is, but it's old and it is beautiful. And they have a section of it that has private rooms and suites. So it's just like a hotel room. We had a private room with a suite. So we had the full setup, even a small kitchenette type thing. And it was just for us. It's not like a hostel where we're sharing a room with people. So it basically was just a really nice hotel room in a really cool old building. And so we stayed there, and Zoe's like, we go to Miami Beach. We do all the Miami stuff. Had a great time, and in the water and everything. And then, Donovan's like, okay, let's go to, because we started off on South Beach, and then No, we were on Miami Beach and we went to South Beach, I think is the name of it. And so he was like, let's go to, I want to take you somewhere basically to get, something, a local thing. And Zoe's like, well, take me to a local dive bar. Okay. He was like, okay. So, let's go to South Beach. Then we're going to go to this local dive bar so you can check it out. Okay, that's the plan. So we go to South Beach. We walk South Beach. We see all the stuff. We see where Versace shot. They turned that damn mansion into a restaurant. Literally, like the host station is sitting on the front porch where Versace was murdered. Is that not the craziest, weirdest thing? Anyways, we do all that. We hang out on the beach there. It's wonderful. We have a wonderful time. He takes us to this dive bar, and it is for locals. Like, it's not something everyone else goes to. And it is the diviest of dive bars I have ever seen. Zoe loves it. It's right up her alley. I love a good dive bar, too, but I don't really go to bars anymore. I'm mainly home. So we hang out there for a little bit, meet this fabulous character who is a gentleman, older gentleman, like maybe 70. And he's like, what are y'all eating for dinner, basically? And Zoe said, we're going to get sandwiches because Donovan had told us this place across the street had really good sandwiches, and it's like known to locals. It's not a touristy thing. And that's what we want is locals food. He was like, oh, yeah, I met my first husband and second wife over there. You're like, what? Your first husband and second wife? He was like, yes, I did. So Zoe goes over there with Donovan. I keep our seat where we are because we're going to eat there to get the sandwiches. The guy walks over there while she's ordering the sandwiches, and it's like Cuban Italian sandwiches. They're so good. They were so good. I wish I could remember the name of any of these places. I cannot. And so the guy walks over there, and he goes, hey, tell them how you know me. And the guy goes, he met his first husband, second wife, or something like that to him. Same thing. So he comes back. It's true. What he said was true. I was like, what's crazy? That means there's a second husband and a first wife. So there's like four spouses, 2 men, 2 women at least, based off that description. Anyways, we had a good time. It was just a dive bar. So we get up the next day, and we're supposed to take this tourist bus. Zoe only wanted us to take this bus because it's supposed to be a double-decker, and she's always wanted to ride a double-decker. And when you're driving from Miami to the Keys, that road from Miami through the Keys, it literally, you can look to your right or left, and almost the entire trip, you can see the ocean on both sides of you. Like, it's a road and very, very little land. I'd be very scared to live there in hurricane season. And we thought it'd be really cool to get up on that second part of the bus and be able to see that view. And then when we're tired of looking at it, we could go down there and rest, but we didn't have to drive, whatever. We thought that'd be cool. We were wrong. We were wrong because I don't know what happened to that bus, but they showed up with a regular bus, okay? And they showed up an hour and a half late. And Zoe was about to lose her mind because we got there at like 8 in the morning because we wanted to spend 6:30 in the morning because we wanted to spend the majority of our time in Key West. So we get up, we finally get on the bus. It takes us to Key West. We get to Key West, and we're 2 hours late because of this bus. It was a beautiful drive, though, and I am glad I didn't have to drive it myself because I was able to look and take everything in. There's a bridge called 7 Mile Bridge. It's just a stunning view. So we get to Key West. I have been to Key West before. So about 22 years ago, I went to Key West with my mom, my 2 of my aunts and their spouses, my grandmother and her best friend, and then a best friend couple of theirs, and 1 cousin and his wife. So it was a pretty big group of us, okay? And we were on a cruise, and so one of our stops was in Key West. And honestly, of the whole cruise, Key West was my favorite day with my mom. My mom was a handful on this trip, okay? And so at the time when this trip took place, I was about the same age as Zoe is now, and my mom was about the same age I am now. So I believe we were 29 and 51 when we went together. Zoe and I are 28 and 50. So give or take a year, same age difference, same age. And my perspective now is so different than then. It's so funny. I do that often with my mom because she only lived to be 61 and I was in my 30s. When I hit milestones or just like things happen in my life, I often think of what my mom was doing at that age and what I remember of her at that age, how she was behaving, where she was in life, whatever. And it oftentimes makes me understand more about her than I ever did when she was alive because I had not lived through those milestones yet and I didn't get it. You know, when you're 25, you think 50-year-old women have it figured out. And that's like, she knows everything. And even if you think she's stupid and she's crazy and she's making poor choices, you think she's still the adult in the room. You know, and now I'm an adult and I've been through a lot more and I've lived a lot more and experienced more. And I'm like, oh, I was a dumb bitch like that, you know, and I just understand her more. And this particular trip, my mom was, you know, she had an alcohol problem for a large part of her life. And, you know, when she was not over drinking, she was everybody's favorite person. When she would drink too much, she was not your favorite person. Now, everybody else liked her. It was just the person who had to take care of her and protect her that it was not always fun. That was me on this trip. I have to get a drink of coffee.
We'll be back after a quick break.
This is half serious.
It clicked in my head, well, he's stabbing me.
This coach is a convicted felon.
You're going to at least have one consequence for the rest of your life.
And that was the hardest thing that I think I've ever had to do.
Whether or not you want to survive, none of that matters. You know, like you've got to kill your ego.
Being there for each other when someone's going through a hard time.
Baby out of a car seat, it's got an 8-inch butcher knife sticking out of its stomach.
And he just cocks it back, puts it to the head, and just pops himself right in the head.
It ain't just about that. Your legacy is how you treat people.
Yep. We laugh, we curse, and we keep freaking going. So pour a drink or start your marathon, and let's get into it.
Okay, so basically on this trip, she went a little hard the first few days, and then the last few days she couldn't get out of bed. And she was just miserable. She had lost her ring and was devastated by it, and it ruined the whole trip for her. And so Key West was before any of that happened. And we just had such a good day in Key West. So I really have a good memory of my mom and I at a time here in our lives where I don't have a lot of good memories of my mom and I. About 2 years later, we went no contact for 2 years. Like, it got rough around that time period. And so I just I like those memories. So I was excited to go on this trip with Zoe because that's where those memories were held. And one of the memories I hold there is that, and I know I've told this story before, but we were at Margaritaville in Key West, and they had this big fake window. And every time people would walk by, we'd be inside Margaritaville, and they'd walk by, and my mom would yell at whoever was walking by on the sidewalk. It's on Duval, so it's the very busy street. And my mom would yell, "Watch your step." There was nothing to watch their step. There was nothing. It was just a plain thing. She just did it because every one of them would kind of trip and look down, like kind of catch stop-ish, but not. And then they'd kind of trip, and then they'd look at my mom because there was no reason to watch their step, and then we'd all laugh. My mom did this to like 60 people over an hour and a half because this is a very busy street. And we laughed and we laughed and we laughed. And then when we got back, my mom made a bumper sticker about it, okay? And it said, "Watch your step, Key West, Cozumel, whatever." And anyway, so that's one of my memories of being there. So Zoe and I got to go to, when we got there, it wasn't our first stop, but we did end up going to Margaritaville. We sat at the table that, you know, where that happened. It was really cool. And I saw my aunt when I got back, and the first thing "Oh, did y'all go to Margaritaville? Did y'all go where y'all went?" Which I thought was cool. She understood the significance, I guess. Anyways, so we get there, and I mean, I'm not going to tell you about the whole trip because I was there for freaking almost a week. It was a lot. But we went for the wedding. We had a wonderful time. The wedding was the woman, most beautiful bride. Her dress was amazing. She had a designer make it in the UK, and it just looked like a fairy princess. And I am going to post some pictures, so if y'all want to come and look at them, they're going to be on my personal page on Zeta. I'm not going to put them all on my social media, especially if I'm kind of not doing much on it. But I'm going to post those pictures. She just looked amazing. And So we had a great time. I loved her family, loved the trip. It was wonderful. Zoe and I just had a great time. But I will tell you, I didn't go to every wedding thing because I was like a +1, but it was like my vacation too. And some of that stuff was for them, like just the friends and the parents who go back to their rooms. And when they would do that, or back to their, whatever, the Airbnb, they had a pool and everything at the Airbnb. They had plenty of stuff to do there. Well, I would go to dinner by myself sometimes, or I went and watched the sunset by myself one time. It's a very safe island, and I felt comfortable. So this one night, I go to watch the sunset. It's beautiful. I did post those pictures. And I go to watch the sunset, and then I'm leaving, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm going to bed early every night. I'm still traditional Zeta, okay? The first thing I bought when I got there was Epsom salt so that every night I could take a hot Epsom salt bath because all you do is walk there. I lost weight, and I ate and drank a lot, so that's crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go find a really nice dinner. Like, this is going to be my nicest dinner of the trip by myself. I'm going to go spoil myself, okay? And I'm only eating food on this trip I can't get at home or I can't get fresh at home, okay? So I'm not ordering anything that I could possibly get at home. I went a week without Mexican. It was crazy. I don't think I've ever done that. So I'm like, okay, so I'm walking through this little area where everybody goes to see the sunset. And as I'm walking through the area, they have like face painters and people selling art and jewelry and a guy like singing and people are tipping them. They're doing all that kind of stuff. It's a tourist place. And so as I'm going, there's a guy sitting there that's reading tarot cards. And if you're anti-tarot card, because Rick is, I didn't even tell him about this because he would get mad at me. If you're anti-tarot card and all that kind of stuff, I totally understand. You can just like zip through this part while I tell this story, okay? But I'm from the South. I know. I also, though, lived in Louisiana, and I like this shit. So I've never gotten my cards read. Honestly, I never have. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get my cards read. I'm by myself. Let's just see what happens. And it's a guy. And so I sit down. This guy's fabulous, okay? And he says, I'm going to have to look up his name so I can tell you his name. He gave me his business card. And it was funny because when I walked by him, I don't think I would have sat there if I didn't have like a good vibe. But I legit walked past him and I was like, this guy gives me a good feeling. Like I'm going to check this out, basically. His name is Ronald Augustine. And you can find him at, hang on, let me find it. RonAugustineTarot.com. Okay. So that's his name. So I sit down. He's immediately starts reading me. He doesn't ask me anything except for my name and my birth month and day. And then he says, oh, Aquarius, and starts going into Aquarius and all this stuff. But he's not asking me anything about myself at all. Okay. And he just starts reading the cards. He has me shuffle them, divide them, put them in 3 piles, pick one of the piles, and that's where he pulls the cards from. Pulls the cards up. I expected him to like go into my kids or Rick and I, or, we're trying to find some property. Maybe that would come up, or my mom or my brother, or that's kind of where I thought those are all my priorities. Okay. No, he doesn't. He talks about the podcast. He doesn't know it's a podcast, but it's clearly about a podcast. He's like talking about my business venture that I do on the side and da-da-da-da. And he talks about kind of what happened when Kelly and I had to stop doing it together because of, all the things that kept popping up. And so he like walked me through that like he knew exactly what he was talking about. And I'm not like reacting and like, oh my God, yeah, I'm totally stoic, not saying a word, listening. Nothing, not giving even facial expressions because I want to see where this goes. So almost the entire tarot reading was about what has already happened in the podcast and what he thinks is going to happen in the podcast. And one of the things that he said was that I'm going to get discouraged and that I'm already feeling it now and that my heart is not in it now. And maybe it would be best to kind of let up a little bit. And he said, but you're going to be back in some way, shape, or form for some reason in January. And in January, something's going to happen, something that's going to make it all worth it. I don't know what that means, but he was right about everything. So I'm curious to see where that goes. The other thing that he read about me, there's only 2 things, is he goes into a different thing. The very end of it, he goes, and you have another you have another job. You have another business that you do. And I'm like, yes. I mean, I don't say it, but I do. And he was like, and at that business, your coworker is having some health problems. And I don't know that he knows he's having these health problems, but he's having these health problems. And this is where they are in his body. And this is what it's doing. And you need to warn him. And you need to let him know that he needs to get it dealt with. And I was like, well, that really narrows it down because I work with a ton of people. And then he told me where the person sat at my job. And that this is somebody that he explained to me how I would know who it was. And he was right. Like, I don't want to give stuff away because I have friends that listen that I work with. But he was right? So the next day, I'm like, I guess I'm going to text him and tell him what this tarot card reader said. So I text my coworker, who I never text, by the way, except, hey, I forgot this, whatever. And I text him and I'm like, hey, this sounds crazy, but I had my tarot, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, that's crazy. I got a story to tell you when you get back. And I'm like, no, now you got to tell me because now I'm going to be wondering. And basically he had a little medical issue at work the day that I got my cards read to me. And I had no idea. And so he's going to the doctor. Anyway, so that was crazy. That was like a crazy thing on the trip. So then I go to dinner and I go to this amazing restaurant, and it's AB Lobster is what it's called, and a lobster house, I believe. And it's on the pier. It's overlooking the water. I tried every time I could to be in a restaurant that overlooked water. I didn't come there to be sitting inside. And so I go to this place and I have the absolute best food I might have ever had in my life. The fresh shrimp is just a different level. It is so good. It just melts in your mouth. And it was jerk shrimp, like a jerk chicken flavor, but it was shrimp, and it was on island rice with black beans and fresh mango and pineapple. Oh my Lord, this was good. And I am going to recreate that dish. Had amazing key lime pie, had conch fritters. Didn't even know conch was a thing. Delicious. Absolutely loved it. Had about every kind of pina colada margarita that I could get my hands on. I had a wonderful time and really bonding with my daughter. And if you did listen to the last episode of Third Wheel, you heard me tell the story about the the snorkeling trip. So the one thing I was looking forward to the most on this trip and Zoe was to go snorkeling, because I went snorkeling with my mom on that trip and had a wonderful time. I've been snorkeling a number of times offshore, like taking a boat. I also, when I took my kids to Destin a few times, there's a spot in Destin under a bridge that I like to snorkel just from under the bridge. You don't have to go out on a boat, and it's real clear and it goes real deep and you can see everything. It's beautiful. And so I was looking forward to this. And Zoe's never gone snorkeling except for with me there. And she was so young, she didn't enjoy it. Like, she didn't want to do it. So let me tell you, I know I get motion sickness. Zoe doesn't really, but I do, right? And so I took motion sickness pills so that I would not get sick. I still got sick. Y'all, I threw up in the middle of the ocean. And I don't mean on the boat. I mean, I was in the ocean trying to snorkel, and I start throwing up. And fish start attacking me because they want the throw up. So I am literally swimming. This is a long story short. Basically, I started feeling bad on the boat. I took my medicine. I took it before I got on the boat. I took more medicine. I started feeling better. I was like, okay, I'm going to be okay. We get there. I start feeling a little bad again because the water was just so choppy. I don't think they should have even taken us out, honestly. You couldn't snorkel worth a shit. And so it was just too rough. So originally he's like, it's all women. It's an all women crew. We listened to Taylor Swift. The captain was a woman. It was great. They were wonderful. But so they were like, you can have this life jacket or this one you can dive when you use it. But you have to blow it up if you need it. The other one, blah, blah, blah. And so we're both really good swimmers. So we're like, okay, we'll take the one where we can dive. No problem. We got in that water. It was so choppy. I immediately started feeling worse because I was bouncing even more than I was on the boat. And usually it's the opposite. And so I was like, oh my God, I got to put the other life jacket on. I'm going to drown if I get sick. So I tell Zoe that. I'm like, I'm going to change the other life jacket. She was like, yeah, me too. This is crazy how rough it is. So we swim back to the boat. We get the other life jacket on. I'm feeling worse and worse. I debate getting back in the boat, but I'm like, no, I feel like it's probably worse. I can't decide where I'm worse. So we swim back away from the boat. It hits me. I'm going to throw up. I start puking everywhere. Now, thankfully, Everybody else is pretty much out at the reef where they're snorkeling. I never make it there because I had to change life jackets. But at this point, 2 or 3 people have already come back to the boat sick. So we are not the only ones. And so I start puking. The one benefit of this is there was no one really around me. It was going back away from everybody else. So they weren't even going to see it, much less have to swim in it. But they wouldn't have to anyway, because like 30, 40 fucking fish, big fish, okay, come out of nowhere eating my throw up. I'm like, oh my God. So then Zoe sees everything and she's scared something's going to happen to me. So she's like holding my life jacket so we don't get separated, because we are getting beat by waves as this is happening. So if you can imagine, when you throw up, you don't have a lot of control over your body. Thank God I had changed life jackets. So I am just heaving and I cannot stop and I cannot stop. And one of the crew see me and they're like, are you okay? Like I'm like, and you have to do your sign, yes or no, like an okay, yes, I'm okay, or no, like come save me. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And when I could talk, I'd be like, I'm just going to get through this. I'm okay. And they're like, are you sure? Yes, I'm okay. I just keep throwing up. Zoe's like, are you okay, Mom? Are you okay? But now she's grossed out and she's getting motion sick because the wave is beating the shit out of her. She starts throwing up. We are now both throwing up in the middle of the ocean, and the fish are attacking us. And she's scared to death of the fish. I'm not scared of the fish, but I do start thinking if a shark comes, I'm fucked because I can't move. I can do nothing but throw up. So anyways, we start feeling better because we threw up everything. So we look at each other. The throw up's all gone. The fish have eaten it. And this all happened in a matter of maybe a minute and a half. Like from the time I started throwing up to where I'm done, let's go do something else. So we look at each other like, yeah, I feel better. Do you feel better? All right, let's go to the reef. We swim to the reef. We're not giving up, okay? We swim to the reef. We snorkel about 10 minutes. I start feeling sick again. It's just beating the shit out of you. And I can't even really see because the waves are so bad. As soon as I get my snorkel right, a wave hits me and water hits me and it's not right anymore and I got to start all over again. So it's like, fuck it. This is not happening. I'm going back to the boat. Zoe's like, yeah, I'm going back to the boat too. So we turn to go back to the boat. We realize there are people fucking throwing up everywhere. We are not the only one. Like, I would say probably a third to half of the boat threw up. Like, you couldn't tell because when you're in the ocean, if you're 20 feet from me, I can't see you if the waves are hitting you. So I can't really see people because it's so bad. But when I'm swimming back, these people were also swimming back. So we're almost all to the boat. And I realized they're all been throwing up. We get on the boat. Everybody's miserable. It's supposed to be all you can drink thing. Like once you finish swimming, we did a morning one. So it was supposed to be mimosas on the hour ride back. So you take an hour to get out there and then you swim for an hour and then you have an hour back where they give you all the mimosas you want. Do you think anyone wanted a mimosa after that? No. It was horrible. So that was done. We get back. We weren't the only ones. A little embarrassing. Really, everything else went really smoothly except the last day. We were going to take that same bus back to Miami and fly out of Miami because we wanted to spend another day in Miami. Well, when we booked the trip, our flight out had gotten shifted. It was originally at like 7:30 and they had moved it to 8:30 Florida time. Okay. So that meant we weren't leaving until the end of the day. So I reserved a resort. I don't know if y'all know you can do this, but this is really cool. If you're ever on vacation and like you got to get near the airport, but like you don't want to be like out doing stuff all day and risk not getting to the airport, or if you have a layover for like 6 hours or something like that, you can find a resort near that airport and reserve either a room for a few hours. Like they won't charge you for a whole room, but you can reserve like a 3-hour window or a 4-hour window where you can take a quick nap or you can shower or whatever. Or if you have kids, you can let them nap. Or you can reserve like a cabana if they have like, those kind of things. We found a hotel right outside the airport a very nice hotel. And it was like $400 or $500 a night entry level. And it's right on the water. It had a beautiful pool, all this stuff. And so we reserved a day at the pool, basically. So we had full use of all their amenities, their pool, their gym, their shower, obviously access to the bar and all that stuff. And So we took the bus. We were taking the bus back to Miami, and we were going to spend the day at that pool and just enjoy the day, and then fly out that evening. And so we were so unhappy with that tour bus ride thing that we went ahead and canceled our ride back, and went ahead and just got a Greyhound. Like, what people could fly. Going out of a Greyhound out of Key West is like going with a bunch of 6-year-old seniors on the way to the casino. Okay. So it was a nice ride. All the people were very nice on the ride. It was not like a dingy Greyhound in Dallas. Okay. It's a completely different type of, it's a tourist. Okay. Everybody. So we get back. We almost miss it because Zoe thinks that it leaves at 11. So we decided to go get breakfast in Key West. I get up early and I pack all our stuff. And it took like 40 minutes to pack all our stuff, okay? So I pack all of our stuff, thankfully. And then we get up and we go to have breakfast. And we're thinking that we need to be back in an hour and then take a taxi to the bus thing so that we can get back to Miami to fly out that night. Well, we're sitting at breakfast. We've just gotten our breakfast, and just gotten the biggest mimosa you've ever seen. It's for 2 people to share. It's the entire bottle of champagne in the biggest fish bowl you've ever seen, right? And that's going to be our last drink. They deliver it. I have 2 sips of it. Zoe's gone to the restroom. My phone dings, and it's like, you need to be on your bus in 30 minutes. I'm like, what? What? It turns out we were supposed to be there at 10. So we are on the opposite end of the island without our luggage, with food and drink just delivered to us. Zoe's in the bathroom, and we have 30 minutes to get our stuff, pay, get a ride. We had walked there because it's like a 10-minute walk, but we don't have 10 minutes. So we're like, what? So I immediately call an Uber. Zoe comes back. I'm paying them. I'm like, forget it. We're not drinking or eating anything. Let me just pay you. We got to go. The Uber driver gets us. We're like, hey, we're going to extend this for a second drop off. We need to stop at the hotel or the Airbnb. We got to get our stuff. We got to get to the airport by this time. She's like, okay, we can do it. So we get our stuff. We thankfully had packed everything because there's no way we would have made it. We get there. We throw that stuff in there. Zoe's freaking the F out. Okay. She does not handle pressure well. I'm like, girl, just calm down. We're going to get there. So we get on we get the bus ride there, or we get the ride there. And I'm going to tell you, we pulled into that parking lot 6 minutes before the bus was to depart. We get on the bus. He departs 2 minutes later. He departed 4 minutes early. We really had not 2 more minutes to spare. So we head to Miami. We make it. We're okay. The theme of this trip was every time we accomplish something, because you got 2 little ADHD girls that don't travel much. She travels more than I do now, but I don't really travel much anymore unless it's like in my truck to the hill country. So every time we accomplish anything, like we got our baggage, we got on the plane, we landed on the plane, we found an Uber, anything we accomplished, we're like, we did it. We did it. So on the trip with my mom, it was watch your step. This trip, our key phrase was, we did it. We did it. And we got on that bus and we were like, oh, we did it. Because we would have been screwed. I don't know. You know how much an Uber to Miami would have cost me? Like freaking a few $100s at least, you know? I was already thinking I'm going to have to buy us flights out of Key West. Like that's what's about to happen. Anyways, we get there. We get to the resort we're going to stay at. We spend the day relaxing, had a wonderful day, and then made it home. And we're back. And it's hunting season officially this weekend. It's been bow season. Rick was hunting the weekend that I got back, and he will be back for bow season. I mean, now that rifle season is starting in Texas, you know, we have different seasons. There's bow season and there's rifles. This is rifle season, which is Rick's favorite time of the year. So I basically won't see him. He ordered me a sweatshirt the other day that says he's hunting. Like, this is what he does. So he is going to be in that world. And so I'm back to reality. I'm back to normal. And that's kind of what got me to this point where I decided to kind of take a break, because I really enjoyed that time. And I want to do more things like that. And it's just really hard when I have to make sure that I'm spending half of my day. I've been recording on Sundays usually, sometimes Saturdays, because when I'm home for this show, because I'm going to have to get it to my editor in time for him to do whatever he needs to do. And then he gets it back to me by like Wednesday, Thursday for me to post on Monday. And I haven't been able to do that. I was traveling. I was getting back. I was exhausted when I got back. Oh my God, I've never slept so much. This weekend, I had a festival to go to, and then I needed to work on some stuff around the house. And I just cannot keep making decisions where I'm constantly chasing my tail. And that's kind of what I'm doing. In order for me to have all these other parts of my life, it's really hard for me to have this part. You will definitely hear from me again. This is not the last episode. It's just not going to be as frequent. Okay. But it is the last of the third wheel. That was our last episode that we recorded that we just put out. And it was a good run. I think we did it for 4.5 years. I think it's been about 4.5 years, 5 years. So that's a pretty long run for a podcast, to be honest with you. And I hope that he's been having his friends come in and do it when I can't do it. And that's the direction he's going to go, is concentrate on that one. And he wants to do video and all this other kind of stuff. And now he has time to put that energy into it. And I think it's really good for Al to have that camaraderie right now in his life with his buddies and the fellowship. And so I think this is better for Al and right now. So I think it's awesome. And so I'm sure it's going to be good. And maybe he'll get his vibe back with it, So that's just where we are, and everything is wonderful, and there's no drama about it or anything, as much as I just, I'm old and tired. I don't know. I guess. But thanks for all the wonderful messages. If you want to keep following me, I definitely treat my Facebook like a blog, and you'll hear things and see things. And maybe I'll be out maybe you'll see more writing coming from me, because I'll be honest with you, I'm more of a writer than anything. And I've gotten away from that, and I miss it. So I'm going to concentrate on my poetry and my storytelling, and I'll do some occasional episodes. It just won't be a weekly show anymore. And I hope you all understand. Thanks so much for everything. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me every week. Thanks for, when I have deep conversations, doing that when I'm not as funny as I'd like to be, putting up with my cussing and all that good stuff. And I wish everybody the best. Okay. And that's it. That's all I got. Bless your heart. Bless mine too.